Always wanted to do this walkout with the goalkeeper at Old Trafford. I have said that your position is the most difficult in English football, but you seem to have settled in really well. How are you finding it?
Yeah, to be honest, it's been really good. I think I've done what I had to do, just like give the team confidence and be there as a leader behind. I haven't done too many crazy things, I think, but that's also being a goalkeeper, not being too high or too low, just always being there that the team can count on you. That's important, yeah.
Are you quite composed off the pitch? Because you seem quite calm on it when you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the qualities I have as well off the pitch, yeah, that I try to bring on the pitch as well. But when the time needs to be, sometimes you have to be also like harsh and be a leader. And I think that's also the thing when to not and when to do it is also important, yeah.
What's the big difference that you've seen so far in the Premier League versus obviously where you played before?
A lot of things, to be honest. I think the clear thing is the quality of everything. Everything is bigger, everyone's faster, everyone's stronger. But I think the most important and difficult one for me, especially as a goalkeeper, is the set pieces. I think that's unique to England.
In what way?
Just physicality, that they try to block you and that they make it as difficult as they can on you. So that's also something I had to learn, yeah.
Do you feel a different pressure when you play for the club, or do you feel the same as you did before?
I've always had like a healthy amount of pressure, but like I put it on myself, the pressure, not really from the outside of the world. So I try to be like as calm as possible, so it's been all right, to be honest, yeah.
Will you have to talk a little bit more tonight to your back three? Obviously Matas de Ligt is not playing, you've got Aiden Heaven, you've got Mazraoui, you've got Shaw. Do we have to be a little bit more sort of interfering with them?
I like to believe that I always do the same thing every game. Doesn't really matter who plays, or right now with Aiden as well, with the young guy as well. You try to help him as much as you can, but to be honest, in these kind of games, it's also important that you always put the leadership and the coaching behind you for the defense. So I think that's one of the biggest jobs I have to do today.
And last question, it's been raining all day here in Manchester. Does that make your job a little bit more difficult?
No, I like it actually.
Oh, you like
I love
it?
Yeah,
oh,
I love it. A bit of rain, not too much, just like today is a perfect day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all the best tonight and well done.
Thank you.
See you soon. See you later. Thank you.
And it's not first half, it's 10 minutes to go. You have a chance to go fifth. After so many years of disappointment, years of criticism, you know what is happening if they equalize. They're going to kill you tomorrow in the press, they're going to boo you. So 10 minutes, be like double focus.
But we feel like something's going to happen, so I don't understand how the players can't feel it. No matter how, you might be playing a really poor team, you want it, but you know anything can happen. We've just seen there with a set piece. And obviously West Ham stayed in the game and good delivery. But United, again, you felt like in America, calling a timeout and getting the United players to go after 70 minutes ago. Lads, you know the game's in the balance still, as if they were 2 or 3.
When you were both playing in that situation, I know it wouldn't have happened but could you sense it coming for the opposite? You're saying you don't know how the players didn't sense it.
Well, you hope it. Well, your experienced players go. You try. What you say. You smell it. You smell it. Go, they're still in the game here. United are making substitutions, and the manager's entitled to do that. But I was looking at players coming off, and everyone. It was like they'd won the league, and they're all like just all chilling out. You go, it's 1-0. Get off the pitch. Get somebody like. Show some intensity to your playing when you're defending set pieces. When the subs are going on and the subs are coming on, it was all a bit like, hey, this is cool.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't be cool when you want it up. Get the job done. You want it up, then show your quality. Man United, they're more quality players than West Ham. They have, in general. And this is not a good United team. But show that when you get 1-0 up, where you go, all right, you can relax a little bit now because you got that 1-0, a little bit, but knowing anything can happen. But United were all
exactly.
Too chilled out, too relaxed, get the job done.
Exactly, and I'm not saying that when we played or managed that it was perfect. I conceded many as a player, as a manager, zillion goals like that. But
United's last
after that we were like, I was angry because let's say you are 1-0 up, 10 minutes to go. If they score, it's gotta be a screamer. It's gotta be from 20 yards. It's gotta be great header from whoever. Blah blah blah. But not cheap goals, you know what I mean? We gotta be double for 10 minutes to go.
But the last 3 or 4 games United have played, that sums them up. It's just not quite doing enough.
It's just a bit. Bleh.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I can't even
like
find
doesn't
the word
matter
for it.
thing, you know. Like okay. The new chance will come next week. Next
Where's
week.
the frustration with the group of players? We saw it the weekend. I'm looking at the last 2 or 3 games, and I've watched the games closely. The lack of quality, intensity in their play. Yeah, they got 2 goals against Palace, but Palace defended the way Palace defended them 2 goals, like a pub team, really bad. United kind of got out of jail, but then you give them credit for hanging in there and sticking at it. But then tonight you go, United, a lot of praise before the game, and again a lot of good PR. They're good at set pieces. They can go 5th. And as if this team's not ready to go 5th in the league. They've got Wolves. They've got Wolves next. There's an opportunity. Saw Wolves the other night. Wolves, one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Premier League. Let's see if United can go do a job at them. And if they do get 1-0 up, don't sit back and go, we're playing Wolves or like West Ham tonight who are in the bottom 3, going, yeah, we got 1. Don't worry, there's another 2 or 3 coming here. We're going to try and flex our muscles. But then he makes his substitutions, and the game all became a bit stretched and a bit, which suited West Ham. Because West Ham thought, listen, do you know what United gave West Ham tonight? They gave them hope. But when you're here and you're 1-up, go, you don't even dream you're getting back into this game. But West Ham, as the game was going on, we're sitting here. Slavs had a pack of biscuits at this stage, and we're sitting there going,
whoa, pop kettle. No offence, but pop kettle.
I had a few.
Yeah, you did.
4 or 5.
No, you know
But
what?
your sense, but I don't get it, how the players don't sense it, or the manager doesn't sense it, going, lads, there could be a twist here. There could be a twist when you're 1-0. And the last 2 home games, United have scored 1 goal. You got to do better than that.
What I didn't like, we are in football for so long that sometimes the teams that are in trouble, that are on a bad run, then you are winning. And then you concede a goal because you are scared. You are scared. It's always, let's not concede, but you concede because you're afraid. It wasn't like this. For me, they conceded because they were too comfortable. They were sloppy. They thought, well, it's over, we're going to win it anyway. And that happened to them.
But that's
and
worse,
that's what I do. That's worse. That's worse. Because the one when you are afraid, it's human. You are human. You know what I mean. You can't help it.
And you can't.
This is like.
You can't relax in this game when you're 1-0 up. I know I kind of played with a kind of an angry head on, but you can't relax. And I see people going on and off, and it was just substitutions where players were walking off. Every player at Old Trafford now gets a standing ovation. I'm going, what are the standards of the club? Where are the standards from? Is it coming from the top, the players, even the fans? The fans are cheering everything these days.
Although that, just on the fan side of things, is just them trying to, isn't it?
Trying what?
To lift it.
Trying to lift it. Yeah, maybe there's a bit of that.
Okay.
But
Fair
also,
enough.
where's your standards? Where's your demands on the club? Where's your expectation? You're 1-0 up, and it's just a bit. Again, I said it at half time. You're waiting for something to happen. Get your top players on the ball. Make it happen. Get the job done. Maybe relax at 3-0. Maybe then you're going, hold on, because you're on about setting standards and good habits. But you 1-0 up and they give a corner away. Bruno gets drawn to the ball, and it's like Bowen, he said himself, he's 5'9", one of the smallest players on the pitch. He's getting a header. We're praising United the last week, saying how good they are at set pieces. Well, that works both ways. It's well and good attacking. You got to defend them. You defend it properly. At least you say it was a poor game, but you get 3 points.
Yeah, it's right. But what Mark said, you got a point. It's like from fans' point of view, they are helping them. Like Thomas Frank said the other day, don't boo us during the game. Boo us after the game.
I'm not saying to boo him,
yeah,
but don't be cheering every time a player traps the ball. No, he's a hero.
I know you thought that number of points from the home games was a damning stat. The other thing over their last 5 matches, they've drawn 3 of their last 5. Forest, Spurs and tonight. And they've been ahead in each of those games.
Well, obviously he's clearly frustrated, the manager there. He's showing it with his answers. He's short and sharp. And yeah, that'll be a concern for him. The last few games and the performances, again, even the Spurs game wasn't great. So yeah, he obviously didn't even give Dallo credit for the goal. A decent first touch, decent finish. So that, again, that's the word tonight after the game, when you thought you had an opportunity to get the feel-good factor, get some momentum into the season. We see how tight the table is. A lot of teams inconsistent. United had a chance a little bit just to put a little marker down to say, listen, yeah, we can win these. We win these type of games where we're expected to win. Obviously, all the other games happened the last couple of nights, so spotlight was on United tonight. Get that win, go up to 5th in the league. They couldn't take it.
Yeah, especially, see the narrative now. You know what I mean? Now we are talking, they are talking. Everybody will be talking tomorrow and day after tomorrow and whatever about not enough points, again bad run, whatever. So during the game, it's also the reason why they should have been double focus. Everybody, you know what I mean? To stop, to give more. I'm saying again the same point. For me, I didn't see enough of them that they were willing to do everything, to die for 3 points tonight. With the greatest respect to West Ham, they deserve it, but they want it, but United didn't do enough after they scored the first goal.
And usually, if you think when teams come to United about if you're trying to get a good result, we look at Everton, we focus on the last couple of home games. I bet you Everton and West Ham have gone off the pitch and thought that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
That we at least put demands on them physically, technically. United didn't. Again, I think United give these teams a lot of hope now, and I think the biggest insult you can have, I think, as a player, particularly for United, is I still think they're quite easy to play against.
Exactly.
Even the last 10 or 15 minutes, where's the aggression, where's the fouls? Even if United think, well, one's enough, slow the game down. If you think we don't have that belief to go and get the second and third goal, again, we go back to the Palace, find a way to win, grind out a result. So we're sitting here tonight, and if they win 1-0, it was a bad game, it was a poor game, but they won 1-0. So there's a thumbs up for that. But instead, the word everyone's going to be using the next few days, again, the manager used there, frustration.
So how much different are these kind of discussions this season to last season for you? How much different are these performances? Was last year just terrible and calamitous, but this is kind of, as we said earlier, just a bit and they're missing opportunities? Or is it similar to last season?
No, I think it is. Well, it couldn't get any worse than last year.
Yeah.
I still think United are definitely more of a goal threat. The stats will tell you that. We've not seen it tonight or their last home game, but you still think 2 at Palace, 2 at Spurs, 2 at Forest. You still think there's more goals in the team, and there is. But there's still that for the attack and threat they have. Again, we've not seen it really tonight. I still think defensively and midfield, I have huge question marks over them. I still would look at them going, I wouldn't trust or believe in this team that they can get results when they need it. Like tonight again, it was this opportunity.
Especially when they...
and you got 1-0 up, by the way.
Arsenal. They're not Arsenal, or they're not all Juventus. They're not Atletico Madrid, that they are so solid that is
They've got one clean sheet this season.
No. We were talking about, you said the best thing about United nowadays, or this season, is that you see goals in them. So United, to win a game, usually needs a couple of goals, you know what I mean, to score. So you can't rely, we scored the goal, it's enough. West Ham will never score, because they are very likely to concede a goal, and that's their problem. And that's, I don't know why they stopped. The only way you can control the game, Dalot and the manager were talking, and that's true, about we didn't control the game. The only way you're going to control the game when you are 1-up is by keeping the ball, having the ball in your position, but on their part of the pitch, far away from your goal, and then you can stop them from doing something. But if you let them winning second balls, if you don't have a ball anymore long enough, and the people are, at least they're going to have a corner.
Yeah, but you can also control the game without having possession. So if United were strong enough mentally to sit back in and go, West Ham, yeah, you need to go.
They're not solid team.
That's what I'm saying, Jess.
They're not that.
But if they had that about them going, well, we don't need to have possession, we can control it and sit back in. And you know what happens then, West Ham? If you do give it back to us, I tell you, we're going to get at you. We've got to get a pace, we've got to get a bit of power. But they ended up in no man's land. They didn't control the ball. The game became stretched, and you just, again, we're watching it, and that's why I'm looking at the players. You have a feeling going, I think something might happen here. I don't know how the players don't feel that. They must do. And that's where you show your quality. That's why you're at a club, and that's why they're on big wages, big transfer, because there's an expectation there. You have to deal with that.
Yeah, but for that you need to have that. It's like all the Italian teams. Like for that you need Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini in a box, and you can make as many crosses as you want, but they're gonna head it out.
And they'll enjoy
I'm not
that
talking the quality of the players, but show Yoro and Mazraoui are not that kind of the players.
But if United if United don't feel tonight they can get the second and third goal, just get everyone back then. Just defend.
But but the West Ham didn't score from counter-attack.
That's calm.
West Ham didn't score like when they were 3 against 2 or 5 against 4.
Right.
If you sit back,
But you might
then
give
you're
up the
going to give them
corner,
corners. You're going to give them corners. And
No, but the other side of that, but if you do lose it, you go at Adams. You kind of beat them in a different way on the counter-attack.
yes, all right. But
By having less
stop.
possession,
But
show
they
your
stop.
quality in that sense. Again, when people talking about control of the game, people, that means you have to dominate possession. You don't have to dominate possession. We've seen some of the best teams in the world have less possession and go, yeah, and they suck teams on. So West Ham had to chase the game. So you sit in, and then you've got really good attacking players. You go, lads, you show your quality when we get it. But they didn't end up in, again, no man's land.
But then to protect the manager, a little bit, to be fair, is like we are talking about, do they have any options up front? And if Cunha came back from the injury, right? So maybe he couldn't last for more than 70 minutes or 75 or whatever. But apart from Mason
the
Mount,
attacking options, yeah, it was not great.
apart from Mason Mount, you have a feeling like
They had the kid
they
Shea
have 3
Lacey
or
on the
4
bench,
injured
yeah.
players.
Yeah,
But only Šeško is missing.
yeah.
So you know what I mean?
And then when Mount
What about the squad?
And then when the players come off the bench, you're hoping the players will obviously bring something to the party. I think the players that came onto United, they seem to lose the momentum with the subs.
But the other thing on Slaven's point about the sort of lack of attacking options on the bench, but only Šeško is out injured, in a few weeks' time, they'll lose Mbuemo, they'll lose Ahmad. I know Mazraoui is a defender, but really from those, from that right flank tonight, they're off to AFCON.
Yeah, but the manager's obviously aware of that. That's something they'd have to get prepared for. But when you look at the squad, considering the money that's been spent over the last few years, yeah, they do lack strength and depth, particularly from the attacking options. Again, when you're trying to see a game off tonight, and even when Mason Mount came on, I look at Mount when he comes on sometimes, and I know sometimes players seem to take longer to get up to speed than others. I felt he was like a kind of a schoolboy out there. You're looking for players to come on with a bit of presence and go, yeah, give me the ball, I'm a sub, I'll give you a brilliant lance, 20, 25 minutes. If anything, they brought the levels down at United. That seemed to be the case tonight.
Especially when he scored in the last game, you know what I mean? So he should be on it, he should be positive and everything. Here, you're on the stage for 20 minutes, we are 1 up, so don't have to do anything spectacular, but keep the ball there, get us some free kicks, corners, whatever, this and that. I don't know.
Mikel Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal will need to unleash their complete player against Bayern Munich. The Gunners host the German champions at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, and one man in particular could be decisive. Ebereki Eze, described as a very complete player by teammate Mikel Merino, is emerging as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons ahead of their Champions League clash with Bayern. The 27-year-old announced himself in North London with a stunning hat-trick in his first derby since arriving in a £67.5 million move from Crystal Palace. His 3 brilliant goals dismantled Tottenham, and truthfully, he could have scored even more. Merino believes every one of Arsenal's 8 summer signings has lifted the squad's level, helping the team build a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But Wednesday's matchup is different. Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champions, represent the toughest test yet for Arteta's side. Speaking after the win over Spurs, Merino praised Eze's qualities and hinted at the impact he could have in such a high-stakes European battle. We've brought in a lot of players who can make a difference. But you can see that other teams have spent big as well, the Spain international said. Individual brilliance can win matches, sure, but in the end, it's the team that matters. If you have great players who don't connect, that's a problem. The good thing about this group is that everyone thinks about the team first. When asked about Eze specifically, Merino didn't hesitate. I think he's incredibly complete. He can dribble, he can pass, and his technical quality is outstanding. In Spain, we always talk about players who can connect with others. He has that naturally. He grew up with that instinct to link play, move the ball, and build relationships on the pitch. He also has the mindset to get involved, demand the ball, and influence the game. At the same time, he's strong, he can take players on, and he can finish. He's a truly complete signing. Merino also touched on how the modern game often reduces players to simple numbers. These days everyone judges players by goals and assists, that's just how it is. But as footballers, we see the deeper qualities he brings, the technique, the movement, the intelligence. Even in training, you can tell immediately how special he is. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's much more than that. He's an exceptional player, and we're incredibly lucky to have him. He can play in several positions and adapt to different systems. He's been a huge addition for Arsenal. Beyond the technical qualities, Mourinho believes Iza's attitude and the healthy competition within the squad will be crucial in Arsenal's title push. You can hear the calm in Eberechi's voice and see it in the way he carries himself. He's confident, grounded, and every morning we sit together in the sauna at the training ground and talk about everything, he added with a smile. He's a great guy, already fully integrated, and we need players like him. Competition is fierce. There's so much quality in this squad. That's exactly what the manager wanted, as many top players as possible, all ready to play. It makes his decisions tough, choosing who starts and who doesn't, but it also pushes every one of us to give our best in every session. And that's why we're improving as a team. As Arsenal prepare for Bayern's arrival, Arteta is facing one of the most delicate balancing acts of the season. The squad is healthy, competition is fierce, and expectations have never been higher. But behind the scenes, there is a growing sense that Iza's versatility and calm presence may be essential against a Bayern side known for controlling the tempo in big European nights. Arteta himself has hinted at Iza's importance without naming him directly. After the Tottenham victory, the manager spoke about the need for players who can break pressure, dictate rhythm, and stay composed when the game becomes chaotic. Those inside the club believe those comments were aimed at Iza as much as anyone. The coaching staff has been particularly impressed by how quickly he has adapted to Arsenal's positional play structure, a system that demands far more tactical discipline than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. Analysts at the club point to his growing influence not only in the final third, but also in build-up phases, where his ability to glide past pressure could help Arsenal bypass Bayern's aggressive midfield line. There is also an awareness that Bayern's fullbacks tend to push high, leaving spaces between the lines. Iza's skill set, sharp turns, deceptive acceleration, and precise final balls, could be exactly what Arteta needs to exploit those gaps. Outside the club, pundits have already started circling Wednesday's match as a defining moment for the £67.5 million signing. Some believe that if Iza can impose himself on a Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich, it will confirm his arrival among Europe's elite creative players. Former players have echoed that sentiment. Several ex-Arsenal figures, speaking on television over the weekend, highlighted the need for someone who can change the temperature of the match with a moment of calm or an unexpected burst of creativity. Iza, they argued, is one of the few in the squad capable of both. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich come into the match with their own confidence. Their midfield trio has been one of the most dominant in Europe this season, and they have shown a repeated ability to suffocate opponents early. That dynamic is precisely why Arteta may lean on Iza's composure. When the game tightens, Arsenal will need a player capable of slowing it down, protecting the ball, and finding solutions in tight spaces. Within Arsenal's dressing room, Mourinho's praise reflects a broader consensus. Senior players have reportedly been struck by Iza's humility and work ethic, qualities that have helped him integrate seamlessly into a squad that already had strong internal chemistry. Staff members describe him as someone who never forces the game and lets the match come to him, characteristics that could prove invaluable in a high-tension Champions League tie. As kickoff approaches, the narrative surrounding the match has shifted. What began as a test of Arsenal's resilience has quietly become a spotlight on whether Iza can elevate them in Europe the same way he has in the Premier League. For Arteta, the equation is simple. If Arsenal are to overcome Bayern, they will need more than intensity. They will need control. They will need creativity. And increasingly, they will need the completeness Iza brings to every phase of the pitch. Whether he starts in a wide role as a floating midfielder, or even as an interior playmaker, the expectation is the same. Iza will have to find the spaces others cannot, and influence the game in ways that statistics alone will not capture. The stakes are high, the opponent is formidable, and the spotlight is intense. But within the walls of London Coney, the belief is growing that this is exactly the kind of stage Eberechi Iza was signed for. Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action after suffering a medial collateral ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-0 win over West Ham earlier in October. Yet, 3.5 years after Mikel Arteta named him captain, the Norwegian finds himself in an unfamiliar position. His place in the starting lineup is no longer guaranteed. For the first time since joining the club permanently from Real Madrid in August 2021, there is real debate over whether he remains an automatic choice for Arteta's 11. Odegaard, now 26, has been central to Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta, the conductor who shaped the team's rhythm through some of their most fluid football. But this season, the Gunners have been forced to navigate long stretches without their captain, first due to a shoulder issue that kept him out of 4 matches in September, and then because of a knee collision with West Ham's Crescencio Somerville that sidelined him again. And during his absence, something significant happened. Ebereki Eze stepped into the spotlight. Eze's sensational hat-trick in the North London Derby has complicated the picture. Now thriving in a central role, the England international has given Arsenal a different kind of presence around the edge of the box. A blend of unpredictability, directness, and two-footed confidence that opponents struggle to contain. He may not control games with the same metronomic precision as Odegaard, but he offers a spark, a willingness to take risks at moments when Arsenal need a jolt of creativity. After such a standout performance against Tottenham, it feels almost impossible to imagine Arteta leaving Eze out. The manager has always had a soft spot for players riding a wave of confidence, and Eze is currently surfing at full height. There was a similar situation back in September, when Mikel Merino was handed a start against Manchester City after scoring 4 times in 2 games for Spain, including a hat-trick against Turkey. Arteta doesn't hesitate to reward form. Eze has carried that form onto the international stage as well, recently scoring a stunning goal for England in a 2-0 win over Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers at Wembley. Though he can play on the left, it has always been clear that Arteta brought him to the Emirates to operate in midfield. And with Declan Rice and Martin Zubamendi near untouchable in the double pivot, the odds of Eze and Odegaard consistently starting together seem slim. That leaves Odegaard in an unfamiliar position. He needs minutes to rebuild sharpness, yet Arsenal's medical team won't rush him. The plan is likely to ease him back through short substitute appearances before restoring him to larger roles. But even once fully fit, Odegaard faces genuine competition, because Eze has shifted the landscape. His arrival has raised the team's ceiling, and his performances have earned him the right to keep his place. Before the dismantling of Tottenham, Eze had scored only twice for Arsenal, one against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup and another versus his former club Crystal Palace, a clever finish that sealed victory. Now, with 5 goals across all competitions, he sits just 1 behind Odegaard's total from last season, when the captain made 45 appearances. Odegaard's 2023-24 numbers were outstanding: 11 goals, 12 assists, influence written across every competition. That is the standard he must match again if he wants to reclaim his spot, because Eze is hungry, confident, and eager to impress ahead of next summer's World Cup. Arteta will insist that Arsenal need both players at their best if they are to meet their ambitions in the months ahead. And with Kai Havertz also working his way back to full fitness, potentially slotting into midfield behind marquee striker Victor Gyökeres, the battle for places has never been fiercer at the Emirates. For Odegaard, the message is clear: he must rise to the challenge. His leadership and quality remain unquestioned, but he can no longer rely on reputation alone. If he embraces the competition and fights his way back into the side, his return could push Arsenal to even greater heights. And if the team has already reached this level without several key figures, the potential for what comes next may be even greater. Inside the club, staff members are quietly acknowledging that Arsenal are entering a new phase, one where no player, not even the captain, is immune to tactical evolution. Arteta has spent the past 2 seasons building a squad capable of sustaining pressure across multiple competitions, and the emergence of Eze is a sign that the manager's long-term planning is beginning to bear fruit. Depth is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But with depth comes difficult decisions. Arteta has always valued balance in midfield, and the contrasting profiles of Odegaard and Eze force him to reconsider what type of midfield best suits the team's ambitions in Europe and the Premier League. The technical control and spatial awareness that Odegaard brings have defined Arsenal's identity under Arteta. Conversely, Eze's dynamism, physical presence, and unpredictable touches give Arsenal a new dimension, especially against teams that sit deep or defend aggressively in central areas. This internal shift has also caught the attention of analysts and former players. Several pundits have begun to question whether the captaincy should guarantee a place in the lineup, especially at a club with ambitions of challenging for the Champions League. Others argue that Odegaard's leadership is too valuable to sideline, pointing to the standards he sets in training and his influence over younger players. Those debates are already spilling into the media, and they will only intensify as the season progresses. There is also the tactical question of whether Arteta might eventually experiment with a system that accommodates both Eze and Odegaard, something he briefly attempted earlier in the season during the win over West Ham. But with Rice and Zubamendi forming an almost impenetrable midfield pairing, any reshuffle risks destabilizing the defensive structure that has made Arsenal one of the most resilient teams in the league. The manager has hinted that he is open to adjustments, but only if they enhance the team's overall cohesion. For Odegaard himself, the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. He has worked hard to cultivate an image of calm authority, a leader who raises the level of those around him through clarity and consistency. Now he must show that he can adapt, compete, and respond to adversity. His teammates still speak of him with admiration, describing him as one of the most studious and detail-oriented players at London Coney. They believe that once he regains full rhythm, he will naturally reassert his influence. Yet even they acknowledge that the landscape has shifted. One senior player privately remarked that, "The team is different now, ease has changed what we can do in the final third." That sentiment reflects not a lack of faith in Odegaard, but an understanding that Arsenal have evolved while he has been sidelined. For Arteta, the ideal scenario is straightforward: a fully fit Odegaard competing with a fully confident ease, creating a level of internal competition that lifts the entire squad. The manager often speaks about the need for healthy tension among his players, pressure that keeps standards high without fracturing unity. The arrival of Victor Gyökeres, combined with the recovery of Havertz, only amplifies that dynamic. Arsenal's season will almost certainly hinge on these midfield decisions. With Champions League knockout matches approaching and the Premier League title race tightening, Arteta must decide not only who starts, but what kind of identity he wants his team to carry into the defining months of the campaign. The next few weeks will reveal whether Odegaard's return sparks a resurgence or a battle for relevance. If he manages to reclaim his place, it could serve as a reminder of why Arteta trusted him with the armband in the first place. If he struggles, it will underline how rapidly Arsenal are progressing, and how little room there is for sentiment at the highest level. Either way, the captain's response will shape not just his future, but the trajectory of a team that believes it is on the brink of something significant.